For great ideas and practical tools you can start using tomorrow to grow your business and separate you from the competition, you've come to the right place. If you're into B2B marketing and sales, then welcome to the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. With over 60 and counting total years in the trenches of businesses small and large, they have a plethora of knowledge and experience that generate you more leads, capture more clients, ring up more sales. Well, doggone it, just make you more money. How about that? Always thought-provoking, yet dubiously entertaining. Please welcome to their respective microphones across 3 time zones, your co-ringmasters, the Dave Loomis, and not the rock star, Steve Miller.
And action.
Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are. This is the Dave Loomis, and I'm joined by one of the Steve Millers.
Right.
For the amazing B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast. That's what we call it, right, Steve?
That's right. You can hear the cheers.
I hear them. I can
hear them in my mind.
And we could not be happier to be here because what we do every week is we provide real tools and ideas for you to apply right now, starting today or tomorrow. And that's what we do.
Yeah, and if you're just joining, if this is your first time, we hope you go back and pick up on some of the other things that we've got. We only do about 20 minutes, so we keep it real. We keep it short, sweet, and like Dave said, we try to give you really good stuff. But also, we also want to give you stuff that makes you think about maybe the perception that you have about marketing and branding, because we want to get you on the right path. Right. And today we're going to be we're talking about pricing.
We are. We're talking about pricing. It was something that we came up with last time and thought, of the 4 P's, which are product pricing,
place,
promotion,
and oh yes, promotion. That's
promotion, right? Place is always. I've always thought that was a strange word, and they sort of forced it that's distribution channels. But once somebody explains it to you, we'll have to do something on distribution channels.
Might do that too. Yeah, might do that.
Yeah, but pricing gets a little bit of a bum rap. It's not the sexiest of the 4 Ps, and it's technical and it involves numbers. And a lot of marketing people are right-brained and maybe not as left-brained. And so when it comes to pricing, they think, maybe I should give this to the finance person, or maybe I'm just not even going to do it.
You know what? I'll tell you, I think that most of the time a price is just simply a wag. Tom Peters was the first person I ever heard say wag, which, as we know, means wild ass guess.
Correct.
Now, what I think that a lot of the pricing that's out there right now are wild ass guesses, but there are companies who take certain approaches to developing pricing. Now, what is your take on the whole pricing thing?
My take, just to respond to your WAG comment real quick before I get into that, I would say that I agree with that. And there's some method to that madness, believe it or not, if you really are experimenting and testing the market waters, and then you're responding and changing things up based on what you learn. That is a valid strategy. However, that doesn't happen all that often. I'd say that there's a continuum from easy to harder, from simple to more complex, that starts with cost plus pricing to start with, which is you get pressure as a marketer from your management to deliver a certain margin, and you develop a new product or you have a current product, and you go to your management or whoever figures out how much things actually cost for you to make. You get that cost, and then you add your margin to it, and there's your price.
Right.
And even though many people have written books that sort of caution against that approach and say, "Oh, don't do that." Pretty much, a lot of people do that.
I think most companies do a cost plus.
Yeah.
I still remember growing up, and my dad, even in his companies, he would say, "Yeah, we shoot for a 35% margin, or something like that." And
right. Yep. So there's another extension to that, or a variation of it, which is competitor pricing, which, in other words, let's say you do your cost plus, and then you look at what your competitors are charging for something very similar. And if even your cost plus is completely out of whack, and your sales force tells you there's no way we're selling this at that price, then you're going to, peel it back a little bit, and you're going to adjust it down a little bit to make sure that it's competitive in the marketplace. So there's a little bit of a hybrid.
And as we all know, salespeople cannot possibly ever sell something at the first price. It has to be cheaper. See, salespeople always come back. You might give them a price. You give them a price sheet. You give them your list and stuff, and then they come back and they go, "We're too expensive."
Right.
We have to lower our prices.
Right, because they want to follow the path of least resistance, which I don't blame them. They want to make it easy to sell. But
frankly, I think that's an excuse. I think it's an excuse for not selling.
Yeah.
Not that it's easy to sell, because my experience, and I don't know about yours, Dave, but my experience has been that for the most part, even when you lower your prices, they don't do any better. The salespeople don't do any better. So, but that's just my opinion.
What I would like to do is talk about for a minute a harder approach to pricing, one that takes a little bit more time, maybe a lot more time.
Okay.
It requires collaboration with probably a very, very good key customer, something like that, who you've got a great relationship with. But this would be value pricing. And the theory behind this is that when we provide something for there go the dogs.
There we go.
There's an Amazon delivery, and they are going to attack the delivery person. Now, see, is that built into the price of the Amazon thing?
They should,
the liability insurance for the
exactly
for the delivery person. I don't know, but here's the theory: is that when you are selling something to anyone, they're using it as a tool to get something done, to accomplish a job.
Right.
And presumably what they're buying from you helps them get that job done better, faster, more cost effectively, something. There's some benefit in there. And if you have a new product or an enhancement to a current product, and you need to reprice it or price it in the first place, how do you do that? How do you know how much value it's actually providing for that customer? And I would argue that if you can sit down with a prospect or somebody that you have a close relationship with and talk to them about, well, when we bring this to market, will you be able to eliminate this step in your process? Or will you be able to raise your prices because of this added feature or benefit, or some kind of attribute that's improved?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, what is that improvement that you'll get? And let's share that value. And that can be a little or a lot. It could end up being your margin, or it could end up being many, many times your margin, because you're providing an enormous amount of value. I have one client that was selling a product this was a highly specialized product, and they were selling it for a couple $100,000. And they went and did some research and talked to customers. They were making just a tweak to it, and they were thinking about the pricing, and they went and talked to a few of the customers for this. And they actually, what was part of it was they were thinking about actually discontinuing the product also. So they said, hey, we're either going to reprice this, or, if we took this off don't do that. Don't take this product away from us. Oh, really? Well, what would you pay for it? They increased the price to $1 million from 200,000.
Yeah.
And no one bought, because it was literally the only thing that could do what it did.
Well, and I think that's a really important point that you just made. This goes back to, of course, my philosophy of being uncopyable, is that the idea is to deliver the value, as you say, deliver the value either in some form. It could be some, a physical form. It could be an intangible form. Could be some kind of service form. Whatever that form is, if there's some way for you to deliver a value that is extremely important to people, that your competition cannot copy, or it would be difficult for your competition to copy, or your competition might even choose just not even to try to copy it. Okay. And if you're able to do that, then, price becomes less of an issue from the customer's perspective, because that value is so high. I have a phrase that all of my clients know, that I say this all the time to them. And that is, where value is clear, the decision is easy.
That's an excellent phrase.
Yeah. And that to me is what pricing is all about. Is the pricing needs to be based on a value that you are delivering to them that they just can't get anywhere else.
How often, when you have talked to your clients' customers, have you heard that price was the only or the most important factor in their decision?
Never.
Right.
No, I've never heard anybody say that to me.
It's almost never the case.
Yeah. I mean, but then I also, there are some people out there who will say, hey, you know what? I always buy the lowest price. I always buy the lowest price. I don't care how much you charge. I don't care what you tell me about the value. I know what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. And I will always pay the lowest price. And as my friend Dan Kennedy says very often, he said, if you can't be the lowest price supplier, there is no strategic advantage to being the second lowest.
None whatsoever.
Which basically means, why even chase that?
Right. Exactly. And
go the other direction.
Exactly. Differentiation. We've mentioned the article, What is Strategy, by Michael Porter. And you can be low priced and differentiated, but not both. And if you're not going to be the lowest price, be differentiated in a big way so that you're uncopyable and that you really are adding a ton of value. But then don't leave that value on the table. Work hard to figure out what is the cost. What is the cost of that value, right? And then see how much of it you can capture. And it's surprising. You can often capture more than you think.
And then when you also think about, one of the things I also I stress a lot to my clients is, when we are, and in the B2B world, I think this is much more prevalent. But if we think in terms of like the B2C world, which we talked about, a few episodes back, like if we think about hotels, we think about automobiles, we think about golf equipment, fishing equipment, things like that. There are, you can get a cheap hotel room. You can get a very low priced car. You can get a very inexpensive set of golf clubs. Okay. But guess what? There are also, choices that are way at the other end. Way at the other end. It's like with a car, for example. What is the difference between, what do you think the cheapest car is out there right now? I don't really even know. Whether it's a Honda or whether it's a Kia or something. I don't know what the cheapest one is, but the quality of those is probably good enough. And really the job it does is it gets you from point A to point B.
Yep.
So now think of a a high-end Mercedes, that costs, $150,000. Essentially it's getting you from point A to point B, but it's doing something else too. It's doing something else, whether it's the way you feel about yourself, about the way you feel that people look at you when you're driving the car, or things like that, but that make it worth, 10 times what the cheap car is out there right now.
Right. I don't think that pricing really exists in a vacuum. It only exists in relation to other factors and features and benefits that you are getting. And that's
a great point.
If you have not read Blue Ocean Strategy, which has been around for a while, there's some great exercises in there that involve trade-offs basically between different features that would presumably add cost to a product or service. And one of the things that you can do if you're worried about your own costs and therefore the price that you would have to charge for something is to do a better job in talking to your target market. You like to call them the moose.
Mm-hmm.
Go talk to the moose that you're trying to hit and see, are all the things that you're providing important to that moose? Because you might actually be able to take some things away that you're providing that aren't important to them, and that will lower your cost, and therefore you'll be able to lower your price. Again, it doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Right. Absolutely correct there. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. And knowing, and of course this means, you got to have a good relationship with your customers. Because it's kind of a quid pro quo situation where you help them, they help you, and you both succeed. And I'm not talking about raping people, from a pricing perspective. I'm talking about something that is worth the value that they are paying for. And I think that's a really, really key thing. Another thing that I often challenge my clients with is I'll say, okay, your price, the prices you're working with, you're within like 10% of your competition, one way or the other. And I say, what would it take for you to be twice as expensive as your competition? What would you have to do, in order to do that and be successful?
That is a fantastic exercise. What a great concept. Because then you're really thinking out of you say create the box,
right?
Create your own box. That's creating your own box, or at least it's thinking out of whatever the current box is that this industry is in.
Yeah. And I think that it makes you think of what you're doing from a different perspective.
Right. Like, for instance, you're selling a widget, which is a mechanical thing that goes into a machine, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're used to selling those, and you're used to highly engineering them and getting decent money for them, even if you're high quality in the marketplace. But what if you had to charge twice as much for that? What would you have to provide? Oh, we'd have to provide concierge service in relation to these parts. Like, we'd have to hand deliver them and then actually install them in the machine ourselves and then the person says, well, wait, could we do that? Would our customer like that? Would they pay for that? What if they would?
Yeah.
That's a different business model.
Yep.
That's uncopyable.
And that's that's the whole idea. When you talk about everything is marketing, like you say, even pricing is marketing, and you don't hear a lot of conversations about.
Well, it's like that cheesesteak that the what is it, the $100 cheesesteak in Philadelphia, the restaurant that provided that.
Yeah,
they got a lot of PR out of it. Their price was their marketing. Wait, I got to check out this $100 cheese.
Yeah, I got to go see that. Where the $100
worth $100
cheeseburger, or the $500 cheeseburger, or something like that. And those are great. Those are great promotions. But we're talking about very real business.
We are.
And so I love the idea of talking to your customers, having that relationship with your customers, and so that you can have that kind of a conversation where you maybe even including them in that conversation where you say, hey, look, if I doubled my prices, what would I have to do?
I love that.
So that you would still be happy.
Yeah. I got another question that sort of flips things a little bit in the other direction, which is, how do you feel about list prices that actually are never adhered to, and there's a street price and all that goes along with that? And anybody that's listening that's in B2B knows exactly what Steve and I are talking about, because there's so many of our clients and companies that we know of that where list price means nothing.
It means zero. It means absolutely nothing, and everybody knows it means nothing. That makes that first. I think the first time I ever experienced that, I was incredulous as to, wait, what? These aren't our prices?
Oh no! Well, those are our published prices.
No, it's 20%.
They're not our real price.
20% lower than that. Like, what?
Right. It gets complicated when you have, say, independent dealers that are in different territories, and you give different independent dealers different deals, and it's not really a level playing field. But then it gets complicated.
And I think that might actually even lead into a conversation about trustworthiness, transparency, honesty, that type of stuff, which is beyond the purview of this conversation right now. But it might be something for us to think about talking about.
That would be a good topic, because there is certainly a movement to, I would say, simplify things and make things more transparent to customers in all fields, consumers, as well as B2B.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So once again, unfortunately, we are out of time, because we are rigid about making sure that we value your time, those of you that are listening to us. And we appreciate you joining us today. If you like us, please like us, please subscribe, please tell your friends, share, send it to your mother. I mean, anybody who you're rooming with, maybe it's your mother. I don't know. Get it to them, and I mean,
who does not like B2B marketing and sales?
I'll tell you.
I mean, it's a universal topic.
I often wondered why there were never any B2B marketing cartoons on Saturday morning. That used to bother me, but now that I'm an adult,
it still bothers me.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear that.
Yeah, there were lessons in some of those cartoons, though,
but none of them were B2B.
No,
not sure. Why is that? So I am Steve Miller. I am not the rock star Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's dad, and I am with that's a capital T, capital H, capital E, Dave Loomis.
Correct. The Dave Loomis. And we are very happy to have spent this time with you this time, and we will see you again next time on the B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast.
See ya.
Thank you, Steve. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the one and only B2B Marketing and Sales Podcast, the source for B2B marketing and sales insight. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and leave these old guys a 5-star rating. Check the show notes for any links and contact information. You can always contact us by going to b2bmarketingsalespodcast.com. Thank you, and keep on marketing. Keep on selling.
That was good.
That was fun. That was a good one. Boy, that time flies.
I know it does.
I love it. I love it. Did you? How much did you hear the dog barking when the dog went crazy?
Oh, not enough.
Not much.
It's Zoom. That's
good.
I love that. I love having that dog barking in the background.
And especially when you can link the dog barking to pricing strategy somehow.
That's right. Yeah. If we add dogs barking, do they build that into their pricing for Amazon? I like that. That was good. Yeah, terrific conversation. Really
winging it as usual. What do we want to do next time, Steve?
Didn't we have a topic? Didn't I write down a topic?
You did.
The buyer journey.
Oh, yes. I can't wait for that one.
The buyer journey. Yeah. I love talking about the buyer journey.
That's going to be a good one.
The interesting thing about that is as much as you and I think the buyer journey is so common, everybody knows about it, all that sort of stuff. The number of clients that I deal with when I sit down with them and I say, let's map out the buyer journey. They have never done it before. And a lot of them just go, what are you talking about? What is that? And when I teach them, they're just like, that is the best thing that you have ever taught us. That's why you pay me the big bucks.
Exactly.
So good to see you, my friend.
It's great to see you as well, Steve. And say hi to Kay. I listened to the Kay episode today. It was good to hear her again.
Yeah, she listened to it today too, and she said, "I'll do better next time. I'll do better." I said, "You'll be fine."
Oh, did she? I thought she did great.
Yeah, I thought she did great too. She thought she started out a little bit slow, but yeah, I said, "No, you were fine. You were totally fine.
It was absolutely fine, beyond fine."
Yep. So, all right, man.
Should we think about another guest?
Yeah,
a couple ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I asked Greg Michio if he wanted to come on. Greg?
I do not.
He has a company called, what's it called? Windbound. They basically deal with developing content, digital strategies with content marketing and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
And
I haven't seen what his latest book is, but do you know Dan Pink?
Yes. I don't know him personally. Do you?
I do. Yes.
Oh, that'd be fabulous. Yeah.
And if we could get him, he'd be great. He'd be great. The Power of Regret.
Ooh.
Whoa. What the heck?
Ooh,
I don't know that one.
It sounds sad.
It kind of does.
Yeah, no, I've got
it says how looking backward moves us forward.
Yeah.
I should read that and see what that's all about. He'll probably win. There's also one called When, the Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's getting into some interesting topics there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've got a lot of friends who are successful authors and stuff who would love to come on.
Okay.
And
I think
I'm sure between the two of us, we will have no problem with getting
We'll
guests.
have no problem. This could go on for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Might be. I'll be in my walker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's going to probably be in a few months, but
yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
We'll get together in person one of these days.
Absolutely. Yes. That'll be fun. So, all right, buddy.
Okay. Good to see you.
Plan on that next week. Why don't you reach out to Dan Pink and just pick one of the days that we're doing it, because we can always, I'm not married to our topics.
Right. Okay. I'll see if he'll do it.
Yeah, and you certainly don't. Like I say, you certainly don't need me. Don't have to go. Hey, Steve, is it okay if we do with him on this day? You know what? Just schedule it.
Yeah, we sort of wing it anyway, so that's great. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
sounds good. Oh, let me know, what do I owe you for?
I was starting to put that stuff together. I'm sorry, I've been remiss on that, but
that's okay. Just let me know. I just don't want you to think I'm like.
No, you're not. You're not. I'm. If I don't send you a number, then there's no number for you to send. Sounds like something a Muppet would say, but okay. All right, bud.
All right. On that note, see ya. Okay. Bye.